hematological diagnosis has declined considerably. A limited role remains. Many studies done show that flow cytometry alone provides sufficient information for diagnosis and management of acute leukemia in children. Nevertheless, cytochemical staining should be available for those cases in which flow cytometry results fail to allow a definitive diagnosis. This quotation is from the Journal of Pediatric Hematology and Oncology. Our textbook, Hofebran Postgraduate Hematology, the 7th edition in 2016, say that in acute leukemia, cytochemistry is indicated if there is limited access to immunophenotyping or a delay in obtaining result is expected. I take this diagram from the postgraduate Hofebran, chapter 19, laboratory diagnosis of hematological neoplasm. The figure shows the principal methods employed in hematological diagnosis. And as you can see, the order of tests starts with morphology, followed by cytochemistry, then the cytogenetics, the fish technique, immunophenotyping, and lastly, molecular biology. Williams Hematology, the 9th edition in 2016, said that myeloblasts are distinguished from lymphoblasts by any of the three pathognomonic features: reactivity with a specific histochemical stain, this is the first; arthroid in the cells, or reactivity with a panel of monoclonal antibodies against epitopes present on myeloblasts. Leukemic myeloblasts give positive histochemical reaction for myeloperoxidase, Sudaniblack B, or naphthalase chloroesterase stain. I will talk about the leukocyte cytochemistry. Leukocyte cytochemistry encompasses the techniques used to identify diagnostically useful enzymes or other substances in the cytoplasm of hematopoietic cell. The principal use of cytochemistry are as follows: to characterize the blood cells in acute leukemia as myeloid, to demonstrate myeloperoxidase or non-specific esterases and thus contribute to diagnosis of mixed phenotype acute leukemia. The 2008 classification of acute leukemia make mixed phenotype acute leukemia when there is positive CD3 cytoplasmic, positive MPO, antigen, and/or cytochemical stain, and/or strong evidence of monocytic differentiation by naphthalate alpha esterase, and B-cell differentiation. CD19, other concomitant antigen, or 3 B-cell antigen. To identify granulocytic and monocytic components in AML, to identify unusual lineages occasionally involved in a clonal myeloid disorder, example basophil and mast cells, to detect cytoplasmic abnormalities and enzyme deficiencies in myeloid disorder, MPO deficiency in a neutrophil in MDS. To identify orthroid in MDS, and thus classify as a case of refractory anemia with excessive class 2 in WHO classification. طبعا الأورثروid can be seen more frequently with Sudaniblack and myeloperoxidase than with Romanowski stain. Some authors say it's seen twice more, and that's what we see in our experience. To confirm diagnosis of hairy cell leukemia, it's particularly important that cytochemistry is not neglected in under-resourced countries when immunophenotyping is not readily available. This is the talk of these countries. The first stain in YPC cytochemistry is the myeloid peroxidase, or the MBO. MBO is located in the primary and secondary granules of neutrophils and their precursors, in the eosinophil granules, and in the eosinophil granules monocytes. The reaction product is the brown and granular. Myeloperoxidase in myelographic staining, the red cells and the erythroid precursors show diffuse brown cytoplasmic staining. The most primitive myeloblasts are negative, with the granular positivity appearing progressively as they mature towards promyelocyte state. The available stain in our work is the Sudan black B. Sudan black B is a lipophilic dye that binds irreversibly to undefined granule component in granulocyte, eosinophil, and some monocytes. It cannot be extracted from the stained granules by organic dye solvents and give comparable information to that of MBO staining. The reaction produced is black and granular. The results are essentially similar to that of MBO staining. You can see the granular reaction. Positive Sudan black B seen in both normal and leukemic myeloid cells. MBO negative neutrophils are also Sudan black B negative. The only notable difference is that eosinophil granules, which have a clear core when stained with Sudan black B. eosinophil بالسودان black تطلع محاضرة غلاف أسود فقط بس الكور مالتها واضح يكون مبين. Rare cases, 1 to 2% of acute lymphoblastic leukemia (ALL) show non-granular SMART positivity not seen with MBO. احنا مشتغلين كل شوية ما نمشي شوية. هو الفرق إن الستانينج is SMART and the non-granular. Basophils are generally not positive but may show bright red-purple metachromatic staining of the granules. This is our job in our hospital. As you see, the Sudan black make Ors rod more prominent. These are Ors rod, but it looks more prominent when stained with Sudan black. This is a case of AML M2, and you see the staining is more intense and granular. The case of AML M3 show more intense staining as there is more maturation. This is AML M3B. They sometimes show the same staining of M3. This case AML with dysplasia, and you can see here the neutrophil black granules and light Sudan black positivity, while there is rod in the nearby class. This is the case of AML M5, and you can see Sudan black stain here is discrete and fine and less intense. Here you can differentiate between M5 and M2 by the intensity of the staining and the granular taursins here and the discrete fine granules here. The other stain is the esterase stain. Esterases are a group of enzymes that hydrolyze acid or acyl ester. Using polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis of leukocyte extract from normal and pathological cell, 9 esterases isoenzymes identified. The 1 to 7, 8, and 9 corresponding to specific esterase of neutrophil, then specifically to naphthyl ASD chloroacetate esterase. This is the chloroacetate esterase stain, and the reaction produced bright red is confined. Bright red is confined to the neutrophil and mast cells. The activity appears as the myeloblast mature to promyeloblast. This stain is of benefit to detect maturation, so it is of benefit to identify. Positivity in myeloblast is rare, useful as marker for cytoplasmic maturation of AML. Non-specific esterase band 3, 4, 5, and 6, corresponding to non-specific esterase staining with alpha-naphthyl acetate esterase and alpha-naphthyl butyrate esterase. Alpha-naphthyl butyrate esterase show brown and granular reaction in the majority of monocytes. More than 80% stain strongly, the remainder showing some weak staining. Negative monocytes are rare. Neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, platelet are negative. That's why this stain is benefit. B lymphocytes are negative. T lymphocytes are more variably stained. Alpha-naphthyl butyrate esterase is more specific for identifying a monocytic component in AML than alpha-naphthyl acetate esterase. So if we have to choose a stain, we have to choose alpha-naphthyl butyrate esterase. This is the alpha-naphthyl butyrate esterase and show brown and granular reaction in the majority of monocytes. More than 80 stain strongly, the remainder showing some weak reaction. Negative monocytes are rare. Sometimes we can use combined esterases in case of M4. Combined esterases stain AML M4 with almost equal number of chloroacetate esterase. Again, the chloroacetate is called maturation, neutrophil, promyelocyte. البutyrate esterase راح تصبغ المونوسايت. So here you can see there is equal component of alpha-naphthyl butyrate esterase with a brown color, and the non-specific, the specific esterase which show blue. The original stain was red. When it's combined, it turns blue. Other stain is a collagen glue stain. Collagen glue stain is useful in enumeration, basophils, and mast cells. Useful in a pathological state in which the cells may not be easily identifiable are Romansky stain. In AML, CML, and other myeloproliferative neoplasm, basophils may be dysplastic and polygranular, as may be mast cells in systemic mastocytosis. This is a Tolgini blue reaction. The granules of basophil and mast cell appear discrete and distinct. The other available stain is PAS, or periodic acid shift. Periodic acid oxidizes glycol group to produce stable dialdehyde. Those dialdehydes give a red reaction produced when exposed to shift reagent. Positive reactions occurs with carbohydrates, principally glycogen, but also monosaccharides, polysaccharides, glycoprotein, mucoproteins, phosphorylated sugars, inositol derivatives, and cerebrosides. The reaction produced is deep pink or red with intensity ranging from pink to bright red. Cytoplasmic positivity may be diffuse or granular. You can see the block positivity, granular positivity. Other slides from our work show the block positivity. Granulocyte precursors show diffuse weak positivity. This is the case of ALL, and there is some remnant granulocyte precursor which show a light pink stain. The neutrophils showing intense confluent granular positivity. As the granulocytic series mature, the stain becomes more intense. Eosinophil granules are negative. Basophil may be negative, but often show irregular large plots. monocyte and their precursors show variable diffuse positivity with superimposed fine granules of peripheral cytoplasm. We have only in our work Sudan black and bears. So we learn ourselves how to get benefit from these two scans to diagnose leukemia, even M4 and 5. So we found these are very clear. Here, there is a diffuse background positivity. There is a pink background of the cytoplasm with superimposed fine granules. These pictures seen in monocyte. So by this we can differentiate that it is a monocyte differentiation, it is M5. This other slide of AML M5, and you can see here the background pink, and there is fine superimposed granular positivity. This picture can't be seen in AML. This other stain for M5, there is positive background pink color, and there is superimposed fine granule at the periphery of the cytoplasm. In ALL, the positivity is seen as block positivity, and the background is clear. Normal erythroid and red cells are negative. Megakaryocytes and the platelets show variable, usually intense diffuse positivity with superimposed fine granules, large granules, blobs. Megakaryocytes take very strong VAS stain. 10 to 40% of the peripheral lymphocytes show granular positivity with no detectable difference between T and B. Lymphoblasts show variable PAS positivity, ranging from granules, blocks, but the background should be clear. It is the block positivity on a clear background most characteristic of lymphoblast than myeloblast. When immunophenotyping is available, the VAS reaction is redundant for ALL diagnosis. يعني يصير تحليل زايد إذا أقل immunophenotyping. It can be useful in AML and MDS to identify abnormal erythroblast with plastic mega to diagnose the cytoplasmic flush in AML M3. As we say that normal erythroid and red cells are negative for PAS. But in M6, the plastic erythroid show positive background diffuse positivity in late erythroid, and block positivity in the pro-erythroblast and the early erythroid. That's seen actually in all cases of AML. The books say that seen in M6. Our experience when there is some preserved erythroid cells in case of leukemia, they take PAS positive. It's a case of M6, and you can see the positive erythroid cell here, diffuse positivity. This again a case of M6. This is the positive erythroid. This is a neutrophil. And a block positivity can see in a pro-erythroblast. This picture from Atlas. You can see the clear confluent positivity of the late erythroid and the granular positivity of early erythroblast. In M7, as I said, that megakaryocyte is take a very good and positive PAS. So in case of M7, PAS will help diagnose it. This case, 10 and suspected M7, and the flex show positive granular PAS. This again a case of M7 with a block positivity. In lysosomal storage disease, actually we take different stents for lysosomal storage disease. All the available stents we have, we stain it for lysosomal storage because of the different substrates that could be found in lysosomal storage disease. Lysosomal storage disease show KS positivity when their substrate is the glycoprotein or cerebroscites, as in Gaucher disease. Moderate positivity seen in Niemann-Pick disease. This is a case of Gaucher, and you can see the clear KS positivity. Sometimes Gaucher cells cannot be distinguished. The KS positivity makes it much easier to be identified. This slide from our job. And you can see here the Gaucher cell with KS positive. طبعا الصور بالحقيقة أوضح، هنا أقل intensity. This is a case of Niemann-Pick. And here you can see the background positivity of cytoplasm. This is the same case of Niemann-Pick, and here you can see the positive foamy cell and a negative cell. These three cells take moderate positive PS staining. Special stains are cheap tests that can be readily available at any laboratory, and they are easily interpreted and used. It is still of use in the whole world, even the worst source countries. This powder are generally out of expiration on my experiment. It strengthens our correct diagnosis certainly. I recommend it to be available in all hematology laboratories in the teaching hospitals